Hey, welcome back to another G.F.E. God, Fam, and Everything Else podcast. My name is Kevin. So today I have an exciting one that I want to share with you guys. As you know, I really have a passion for history, world history at that. But today's episode, I want to talk to you about an important individual. I did a video before about a samurai by the name of Takeyama Ukon. He was a Christian samurai that made a big impact here in Japan. And today I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys about another Christian samurai. He was very young, around 17 years old, who had made a incredibly big impact as well. And a lot of people know who he is, but they don't really know his story. Um, and his name is Amakusa Shiro. So, in this episode, I'm going to go ahead and share with you a little bit about him and in hopes to show you the impact of the Word of God, how it has spread throughout the world. Because Jesus has told his disciples, and he's telling us in the Bible, to go out into the world making disciples of all nations. And this is another example of how a culture of Japan, very historic, has, how do I say, has been affected by the Word of God. So sit back and enjoy this video. I thank you again for watching. In the winter of 1637, on the cold shores of Kyushu, Japan stood at the edge of a rebellion. The winds howled across the Shimabara Peninsula, carrying with them whispers of faith, suffering, and a young leader said to possess the voice of heaven. His name was Amakusa Shiro. Some called him a prophet, some called him a samurai. The shogunate would call him a rebel. But who was this teenage Christian warrior who dared to challenge the might of the Tokugawa Japan? The early 17th century was an era of consolidation and control. Under Tokugawa Iemitsu, Japan's rulers tightened their grip. Foreign influence was feared. Christianity, once tolerated, was now outlawed. Missionaries had arrived decades earlier with Francis Xavier, and thousands of Kyushu converted. Among them were peasants, fishermen, and even samurai. But faith came at a cost. Heavy taxation, famine, and persecution weighed heavily on the people of Shimabara and the Amakusa Island. Christian villagers were forced to trample on sacred images of Christ and the Virgin Mary to prove they had abandoned their faith. Many refused, and into the climate of despair stepped a boy. Born in 1621, Shiro, likely baptized as Geronimo or possibly Francisco, was the son of a minor samurai family with Christian roots. Accounts described him as charismatic, intelligent, unusually composed for his age. By 16, rumors spread that he possessed divine gifts, that he would and could perform miracles, that heaven had chosen him. When oppressed farmers and masterless samurai arose up in 1637, they needed more than just weapons. They needed hope. And so they chose Shiro as their symbolic leader. The uprising would become known as the Shimabara Rebellion. Tens of thousands of rebels, many Christians, fortified themselves at Hara Castle. They carried banners embroidered with crosses. They sang hymns in Japanese and Latin. Some believed angels protected them. At the center stood Shiro. He was not an experienced battlefield commander. Veteran Ronin handled military tactics, but Shiro's presence unified the rebels. His youth symbolized purity. His faith symbolized resistance. For months, they held off shogunate forces, but the Tokugawa army was relentless. Over 120,000 troops surrounded Hada Castle. Cannons roared, food supplies dwindled, winter tightened its grip. The rebels prayed. In 1638, the castle fell. The massacre was swift and absolute. Men, women, children, tens of thousands were killed. Shiro, only 17 years old, was captured and executed. His head was displayed in Nagasaki as a warning. Christianity was driven further underground. Japan would soon close its borders in a policy later known as Sakaku, national isolation. And yet, the memory of Amakusa Shiro refused to disappear. To the Tokugawa government, Shiro was a dangerous symbol of rebellion. To hidden Christians, the Kakune Christians, he became something more. A martyr, a saint-like figure, a symbol of faith in the face of annihilation. In the art of folklore, he appears almost unreal. Long hair, serene expressions, holding a banner of heaven. Was he truly a miracle worker or a teenager swept into history's storm? The truth lies somewhere between the faith of politics. Amakusa Shiro's rebellion failed, but the story endures. In a time when belief itself was punishable by death, a young samurai stood before the empire and declared that faith was worth fighting for. His life lasted only 17 years, but his legend has lasted nearly 4 centuries. This has been Heaven's Banner, the story of Amakusa Shiro.